Board of Trustees regular meeting to order. We're going to do a pledge of allegiance followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll start first with public comment. Mr. Brock Davis.
Hello. Thank you. Oh. Turn it down. Stay right here. Why not? Yeah. So we're here with Citizens State Bank, and what you're having passed around here is actually an existing program that is used by Rush County Schools, and it's called Bonsai. It's not the tree, but it is based off of financial literacy. And so, as some of you may have heard in the conversations coming up, that financial literacy is now going to be a requirement for all schools 8th through 12th grade. And Bonsai, again, is something that the school has purchased in the past directly from Bonsai. You have roughly 17 different teachers using that curriculum today. The best news that we can share today is that starting this year, that fee that you would have been paying, which was roughly $2,090 per year, is now being covered by Citizens State Bank. That is our gift kind of to the community. And so it's definitely near and dear to our hearts. And so I was just joking that, between the two of us, there's 40 years of banking experience here. And so we understand that bringing financial literacy into the classroom can be a little intimidating at times because it is a topic that usually the bankers deal with. And so we absolutely want to partner. And so we are, calling ourselves the official financial literacy partner. And so we want to be in the classroom as much as possible. So it's offered up through the program that teachers can reach out through the system and ask for us to come in and talk about any of these topics. The biggest ones that I can hit on is debt management, how to build credit, budgeting, all the things I think all of us wish somebody had taught us early on in life. And then also the fun ones of how to write a check, which is one of those old things that just never gets old. So the other big piece to this is you can see there on the second and third page, the Bonsai does meet all of the Indiana standards for curriculum automatically out of the box. So it is one of those things that it's a turnkey operation for the teachers to meet all of those guidelines directly through the software. There is an app as well as a website for the parent of the student themselves, as well as the teachers. So it's kind of that 360-degree view of supporting that curriculum. So we just wanted to come here tonight and kind of announce that to you all, and then open it up to, I guess, any questions you may have about it. Yes?
So the personal finance class, is this teacher driven or is this student driven? So is the teacher presenting and using this as a format, or is it?
It's a little of both. So
Okay.
it is very much teacher led, but again, this is one of those things, we have access to the content as well. And so we'd be happy to come in and teach those things, but there's also the worksheets, the workbooks, as well as the app that supports that learning
Okay.
outside the classroom as well.
And all of those workbooks and everything are also covered in the fee that we've already paid.
Yes. So although you have, the 17 teachers today, you could have every teacher within the system as order as many booklets as you wanted, and it would still be covered 100% by Citizens State
I
Bank.
like that.
Yeah.
And also, I think when we spoke to Mr. Peters and Mr. Jamison, we did mention that it was high school. We have now spread that into the junior high as well, because more of your junior high teachers were taking advantage of the software ahead of time.
Good. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, anything else?
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I have one of your cards?
Absolutely. You got one?
I'm thinking about the
I did my
prison.
first.
All right, take a minute.
Here's his, you can find me in the Rushville office.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Mr. Superintendent, I understand there are no other public comments at this time.
None at this time.
Okay, let's go on to the hearing on the lease. Jim, you're on.
The school corporation will receive money for the sale of the real estate to the building corporation. This is money not initially listed in the school corporation's annual budget. The school corporation is required to hold a hearing for additional appropriations for those funds. Mr. President.
The next item on the agenda is for the board to hold a lease hearing on the proposed lease agreement for construction projects, as well as additional appropriations hearing on the bond proceeds. After a brief presentation by superintendent, there will be an opportunity for the public to make comments about the lease to be paid, lease rental to be paid under the lease and the additional appropriation hearing. The notice of this hearing on the lease and the notice of the additional appropriate hearing was published as legally required.
The school corporation is funding this project through a lease financing, as it has done with other past construction renovation projects. Lease financing is used by school corporations across the state of Indiana in order to borrow for the renovation and construction. The school corporation will purchase a portion of the building at the closing of at least the appraised value. The building corporation will then lease that portion of the building back to the school corporation. The lease rental due from the school corporation will be paid from property taxes and will be for the lease of the building during the term of the lease. The lease rental, as shown as the maximum amount of the lease, will be sufficient to pay the principal and interest due to the bondholders. Mr. President, I'm also pleased that our building corporation executive officers are with us tonight in the audience.
Would you like to introduce them, sir?
Sure. Mr. Adam Wilson, Mr. Andy Taft, and Ms. Cora Lyman. Thank you.
We will now open the public hearing. If you have a comment, please actually state your name and address and limit your comments to the proposed rent to be paid under the lease or additional appropriations. Keep any comments to a 3 minutes limit if you can. Avoid being repetitive if possible. Is anyone interested in speaking about the lease? We will now close the hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
As required by school leasing statute, Indiana Code 20-47-3, after a hearing, the school board must approve the lease and authorize the officers to execute such agreement. This lease is the agreement whereby the school corporation will levy the required property tax to pay the lease payments. The lease payments will be paid to the building corporation and used to pay the bondholders. Without the lease, the bondholders will have no assurance that the building corporation will repay the bonds. The lease is a mechanism by which the property tax collections can get to the bondholders.
I would entertain a motion and a second to adopt the resolution authorizing the execution of the lease.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Additional appropriation resolution. After the additional appropriation hearing, the school board will adopt a resolution which outlines the appropriation of funds received for the sale of the real estate. The resolution also specifies that the funds will be placed in the school corporation construction account, separate from all other school corporation funds until the project is complete.
I would again entertain a motion, a second, to adopt the additional appropriation resolution.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Resolution for reapproving the building corporation. In order for the building corporation, a not-for-profit Indiana corporation, is issued tax-exempt bonds, the IRS requires that the school board approve the building corporation and authorize it to issue tax-exempt bonds on behalf of the school corporation.
Again, do I have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution of reapproving building corporation resolution?
So moved.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Motion carries.
All right, the resolution assigning construction bids and contracts to the building corporation. The building corporation will own a portion of the Rushville Elementary School building. The building corporation will also be the issuer of the bonds. The bond proceeds will be held by the trustee bank and will be used to pay for contractors for the work to be done on the building. As a result, the construction bids and contracts will need to be with the building corporation, because the building corporation will hold the money to pay the contractors. The school corporation receives the bids and/or contracts and awards the bids and/or contracts under state law, but then assign those bids and/or contracts to the building corporation.
Again, I'll entertain a motion and a second to adopt the resolution assigning construction bids to the building corporation.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion.
This is all the part that confused me, and I have to say this, because I know there are people out there thinking, what are we talking about? We have to lease the school because a school system can't go into debt. And since we are doing these renovations, we have to essentially go into debt, but we can't, we're not allowed to because we're a school corporation. That's where the building corporation comes in, and they are holding the debt, but then they also own part of the school while we're paying it back. Did I get that right?
Spot on.
I saw heads shaking, so I think I did the right thing.
Which is the way it's been for years too, Andrew, so this is nothing new.
I know, but it's new to me, and I'm sure there are people out there going, I don't know what you're talking about. So
Okay, Jim.
I'm that person.
You got to vote. You have a motion and a second. Any
Have a
discussion?
motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. That's better enthusiasm.
One more. Resolution approving the fourth supplemental to the Master Continuing Disclosure Undertaking. The Securities and Exchange Commission requires that a school corporation enter into a fourth supplemental to Master Continuing Disclosure Undertaking before it issues bonds. The school corporation has previously entered into these types of agreements. The agreement requires that the school corporation agree to a timely provide certain financial information to the SEC EMMA database and provide notice of any material events.
I'll entertain a motion and a second to adopt the resolution approving the fourth supplement to Master Continuing Disclosure Undertaking.
So moved.
My discussion sounds like any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. And since we're done with that, let's move on to something more entertaining. Tell me something good. Miss Maston, you're up.
Well, I'm Sorry to disappoint, but
Oh, you changed.
Changed.
I'm just reading from the notes.
I'll try to top all of that. I don't know if I'll be able to. Mrs. Whistler, you want to? All right, I have the pleasure tonight to introduce you to our Arlington Student of the Month, Miss Sabrina Weir. Went around to all the teachers she's had, staff, just to find out what they thought about Sabrina. The list would go on and on. It's probably a novel I could write, so I picked my top 4. She's a hard worker. She gets her work done on time. She puts in the effort to make sure the work is done to the best of her ability every single day. 2, she's not afraid to ask questions. That is tough for kids that raise their hand and ask questions. When she doesn't get something, when she doesn't understand something, she always raises her hand, asks a question, gets the information she needs. 3, Sabrina has surpassed every goal she has set for herself so far this school year, which shows that she's a very self-motivated student. And 4th one, I think is the most important. She is a friend to everyone at Arlington. She is always willing to help anyone in need, and I will say, except for this moment right now, she always has a smile on her face. And when her little sister comes up and tries to hug her in the cafeteria, she doesn't push her away, she hugs her in front of everybody. So that's pretty awesome. We are lucky to have Sabrina. And once again, Sabrina Weir, your Arlington Student of the Month. Our staff member of the month is Mrs. Ashley Whistler. I got a few statements from staff to talk about why she was chosen. First, Ashley works hard to help our students learn and grow. She is willing to do anything that is asked of her when she comes in for classroom support and has been very flexible and rolls well with change. Ashley is always willing to do anything I need her to do during her push-in time in my room. I love listening to her group when they are working because you can tell she loves working with students. She is great at communicating with other staff members, and she goes out of her way to do in any way she can. And 3rd statement, Ashley is great with the kids, which I've seen daily, and the kids love to work with her. Many students are excited about showing her things and talking with her in the hallway, as well as lunch, which we're going to touch on here in a second. Ashley has a very positive attitude and continues to grow and learn new strategies that help struggling learners. She has embraced her position in our Arlington school community, and in doing so has become an influential role model for our students. Now, back to lunch. It's not lunch. She does kindergarten 1st and 2nd grade lunch. That's the lunch. That's the lunch when you walk in. If a kindergartner has a chocolate muffin in their hand, you're not going to win that, okay? That's going to be everywhere. That's the lunch where you walk in, and if you're clean when you walk in, you come out with ketchup stains, pudding stains, Salisbury steak stains, Bosco sticks in your pockets. I mean, it's all of that. So she still goes in with a smile every single day, and the kids run up and hug her, and she still smiles even when their hands are all getting on their nice ones. So once again, Mrs. Ashley Whistler. Thank you.
Mrs. Wilson.
Right, so if we could have our student and employee of the month up here. So we will start with Max. And so I'm going to let Mrs. Cook talk about Max.
All right. All right, well, this is Max Waters, and he is our student of the month. Max is a very hard worker. He's the type of student that is a joy to be around, and he is a friend to everyone. And much like the student before, he always has a smile on his face. I was fortunate enough last year to have some time in the classroom with Max. We had some time together, didn't we? And the 2 words that come to mind for me are perseverance and dedication. So he is very dedicated to getting his work done. Everything is not easy for you, is it? But you work really, really hard and to make sure that he does, I'm saying all the truth, right? He does. He makes sure that he works really hard to get everything done to the very best of his ability, and he just wants nothing but to be successful. And so we're really proud of him for that. His teacher this year is Mrs. French, and Mrs. French has these things to say about you. Max shows up every day prepared and ready to learn. He possesses incredible determination. He works carefully and takes his time to put forth his best work in all he does. Max has an amazing positive attitude and is kind to everyone. In addition to all these positive attributes, Max is truly one of the most respectful students I have ever had the pleasure of teaching. So, congratulations, Max.
Great job. And, yeah, stand here. So I have the privilege of announcing that Mrs. Lazier is our Employee of the Month, and she had a very short-lived retirement. And what was it? Just
2 months.
2 months. Okay, 2 months. She had a good 8 weeks. So it's just wonderful having Julie at Milroy this year. She began the year as our part-time title teacher, and then after a few short weeks, she graciously volunteered. She volunteered to cover our first grade classroom and full-time. And she's just been such a positive, flexible, and very hardworking person. We're lucky to have her, and I know her colleagues, all of our colleagues at Milroy will agree that she's just a very giving person. Anybody that's in need, she's the first one there to step in. She not only goes above and beyond for her colleagues, but her students. She's just been a very big asset to Milroy. So we appreciate her, and we hope that she just stays out of retirement for a long, long time. So congratulations.
Dr. Schaffner? Oh, no.
This is the face of RES. When you enter our doors, these are the first 2 wonderful faces that you see. Mrs. Connolly came with our building, her words, not mine, but we just adore her. And a few kind words about her. Mrs. Connolly's dedication, professionalism, and unwavering support play a vital role in the smooth operation of our school. She has the ability to multiple tasks with precision and a positive attitude each and every day. Whether it's screening parents, assisting students, or handling administrative duties, she does it all with a smile and an impressive level of organization. It is clear that you are the heartbeat of our office, ensuring that everything runs seamlessly every day. And Mrs. Brittany Lee, a week before school starts, we say, hey, Brittany, you want to move your office? And she does. And she has just been phenomenal with everything that we've given her, and it's been a big adjustment, but she's doing it all very well. And a few kind words about you. Mrs. Lee's warm and welcoming demeanor creates a positive atmosphere that is felt by staff, students, and visitors alike. She has a unique ability to make everyone feel heard and supported, which makes a real difference in the daily life of our school. I have seen firsthand how your patience, kindness, and problem-solving skills help keep things moving forward, even when challenges arise. In short, our school is a better place because of both of you. Thank you for your hard work, dedication, and the positive attitude you bring to the office every day. You two are truly invaluable members of our school community, and I am grateful to work alongside you.
This is my guy Maverick. Maverick is a kindergartner at RES, and his teacher is here. I'm going to share just a few words that his teacher, Miss Niedenthal, has shared about him. She said that I believe Maverick should be Student of the Month because he has worked so hard academically and was self-regulating these 9 weeks. Maverick works hard and he never gives up. He is an excellent example of perseverance. I'm so proud of him for all the growth he has made and continues to make every day. Maverick also comes into school every day with a smile on his face and ready to learn. He is so kind to his peers and always willing to help cheer them up when they are feeling down. He never fails to make anyone around him smile. Maverick is a hardworking student and amazing friend to his peers. He's very deserving to be Student of the Month. I'd like to present this to Maverick. Oh, that's our primary Student of the Month. All right, I don't know if we can top that, Isabel. But this is Isabel Tompkins. She is our intermediate Student of the Month, and a couple things her teachers have said about her. Isabel is always the life of the party, which is absolutely the truth. She is enthusiastic and caring and willing to help whenever she can. Isabel is always hardworking, holds herself to a high standard academically, and she can take on the world. I have witnessed her dancing skills, and she was the first kid to ever ask to do announcements with me when I would get on the microphone in the morning and just ramble, and not many 6th graders would be willing to do that. So I've been very proud of Isabel and the relationship that we have built so far, because she's a lot of fun and she pokes at me and says mean things to me all the time. But I'd like to introduce Isabel as our intermediate student.
Mr. Bundy?
So there may be some confusion. Carrie is not in our building any longer. So I actually didn't get the pleasure to work with Carrie officially because somebody stole her. But I've forgiven, all forgiven. So, but Carrie was the treasurer at the middle school for several years, and she had the opportunity to go to the elementary and go into the classroom, which is something that her passion for working with kids she's well suited for that. So that left us without a treasurer. Carrie is the type of person that would not leave us stranded, and we've had some difficulty filling that position, and she's been there through it all, helping us out. The nomination said that Carrie's done a great job of helping BRMS while we were in transition to the new treasurer. All of this while teaching her first year in the classroom. Hats off to Carrie for being so dedicated to our needs. Absolutely, because her dedication to the middle school not leaving us, she meant that she was coming back in the evenings and doing work to make sure the referees are paid, made sure that all the checks are signed and everything was in order, and we would not have been able to function appropriately without her. So thank you. And I don't believe our Student of the Month was able to make it. I thought they were going to have that, or going to be able to be here, but evidently not. So.
Thank you very much.
Student of the Month is Aramaya NG, and Aramaya works, according to her teachers, works to learn, not just to get the work done. And she wants to learn as much as possible, and this isn't just with what the teacher is requiring. She has a passion for learning, and it goes beyond what's required in the class. She is many times asked that the teacher reopen assignments that she was able to complete because she didn't get 100% on it. So she wanted to reopen it so she could do better and learn as much as possible. So working through that side of it, when she did get finished with her work, she volunteers in classes to help others who may be struggling with some of the concepts. So she is not just about herself learning, she's about helping others in the classroom learn as well. And you see this type of energy and personality throughout the day. At lunch, in the hallway, there's always a smile, and she is an asset to our school. And I just am thankful to have had the opportunity to be in the school with Armaya. So Armaya and G.
Mr. Cook, I think.
Well, it wouldn't be us if we didn't have like 15 people to recognize. So, but we do have a few, but I just want to start off by saying, and then I talked to Mr. Jameson about this because I was so overwhelmed. I had a young lady come in my office, a student, Ivy Paul, and she came to me. She's an Arlington Elementary and a BRMS student. She's currently at RCHS. She came to me with an idea of a new club. They used to have reading buddies in the elementary. And when she was in elementary school, books were her escape. Books were her thing. And then she adored her 6th grade reading buddy. And she enjoyed it, and it really meant something to her and really kind of shaped her life. So she came to me with a club idea. And she wanted to start what they're calling the Lion's Tail Literacy Club, where a group of high school students will do a rotation around to BRMS, RES, Milroy, Arlington, and read to young students. And it's a time for these kids to become positive role models for young kids, teach them about literacy and the importance of reading. And as we all know, when you're reading to kids, it increases their reading levels as well. So she sold me in about 5 seconds when she said it had such a big impact on her life, she wants to give back. And I was floored because I didn't realize I was talking to a student at that time. Great communication, Mr. Bundy and I kind of working with it because we have a middle school, Vicki Baker, middle school teacher who's actually doing the club at the high school. So then we're going to incorporate some middle school kids also to go read at the elementary. So this thing's going to get huge. But I just wanted to recognize Ivy and Vicki for starting this and just talking about what a great job they did. And it's going to be amazing. But we're going to go on with, we do have 3 to recognize because I'm going to let Mrs. Meek talk about this young man. Come here.
I don't have to hold up your picture anymore.
No, we don't even have to hold up your picture. We didn't think he was going to be here tonight because he had a cross-country meet, but that got canceled, so here he is.
All right, so this is Kyle Jacobs, and he is the Whitewater Career Center Student of the Month. So just to put into perspective, there are 5 other schools that feed into Whitewater Career Center, and Kyle was the Student of the Month out of all of those schools that go there. And he is a student of the Automotive Technology Career Path. And what they said about him was, as a first-year student, Kyle has already shown incredible potential and a strong work ethic. He works seamlessly with his peers, contributing to group success and completing every task with dedication. With perfect attendance and all assignments completed, Kyle is truly setting the standard for excellence. So please join me in congratulating Kyle.
Okay, I have the honor of introducing our RCHS Student of the Month, Kemper Seitz. So come on up, Kemper. So everybody's got a song, so I'm trying to learn to talk over the music here and not be distracted. Kemper is one of those kids that's a joy to see in the hall every day. Treats everyone with respect. He's there to work hard, and he's a lot of fun to watch on Friday nights too. He plays hard. He's a lot of fun to watch. So I'm going to read a couple of just the things that his teachers have said. And by the way, Kemper, this is This is all, I mean, it's pretty cool, all right? So Kemper was an absolute joy to have in class last year. I know English wasn't his favorite, but he still worked as hard as he could every single day. He was a model student and frequently helped his peers. Not only did Kemper try his best in class, but always behaved with the utmost respect and treated everyone around him with kindness. He's just an all-around good human being, and our school is a better place with him in. So that's pretty high praise. What an outstanding young man. He is so respectful and will do anything you ask of him. By the way, that's a very common theme. He'll do anything that you're asked to do. He's very conscientious about his studies and works hard, very hard in the classroom. He's a great role model and a mentor to those around him, and I've enjoyed getting to know him and working with him. So, Kemper, congratulations.
What do we got going here?
Feel good.
She actually gets picked.
Yes.
I get the pleasure of announcing our staff member of the month, Miss Hannah Augsburger. The thing the theme I've seen tonight is that as you guys can realize, Hannah's one of our at-risk counselors. We have a kind of a theme tonight that it takes everybody in our schools to make things work for our kids and to work properly. So I applaud all people that were awarded this thing tonight. But Hannah is, as I said, is one of our at-risk counselors, and she was chosen as our staff member of the month. She's been trying for some time to build a safe space for our kids. She wanted a safe space for kids to go to be able to, we originally called it the reset room. Hannah now calls it the den. And it's a place, I couldn't believe how much it transformed in a day. We cleared it out and she filled it up. And this is a place where kids can go and reset. They can reset their mental health so they can go back to class and be involved. They stay there for 15 minutes. Some kids stay a little longer. It just depends on when Hannah can get to them and talk to them, and she's there with them the whole time. It's just a really incredible place, and it's been a really huge asset for our school and our kids, especially when they're dealing with some high anxiety and some stress and things from the day. Hannah does go above and beyond for our kids and their mental health at RCHS. It's amazing. And I've got a few things to say from her teachers, from our fellow colleagues here, I guess I should say. Hannah is an incredible asset to our school and community. The need for kind and compassionate counseling is great. So we are blessed to have her as part of our RHS guidance team. You can guess who said that, right? Okay. Hannah is a key member of our guidance office. I am so thankful to have her on staff. She is compassionate and kind to our students and demonstrates incredible patience. Hannah deals with some very difficult situations on a daily basis, and I appreciate everything she does at RCHS. She is very dependable and a great team player. Thank you for all you do with our most challenging students, listening, loving, supporting, guiding, and encouraging. Great thing there. I do have to read because this is Dave Doyle, and when Dave Doyle talks, I've got to listen, right? Hannah does a great job. Students that work with her trust her and know she has their best interest in mind. In this day and age, it isn't easy to build this kind of relationship. Hannah is a positive influence on our students and her colleagues. Dr. Dave Doyle. She also had some students make some comments too. Some students chimed in. Miss A is a very strong and independent woman. I like that one, that's why I had to say that one, right? But she says anything she wants to do, she can do. She is very helpful and would do anything for any student in this school. She definitely lights up the room, and she's a wonderful listener. Just a couple more real quick from the kids. Miss A is a wonderful at-risk counselor, but not only that, she's an amazing boss. So you're a boss too, right? Okay. Lastly, I thought this was great because this actually came from a young man that I didn't think would send anything in, but it's amazing. She is a great person to talk to when you need a break from life. She is caring and gives you constructive feedback without lecturing. She understands that change takes time and encourages you to work on things rather than threatening you. She's someone you can trust. Her office is a safe place, and she's a friend you can respect. So you can see that common theme with Hannah, and she is definitely in the right position for what she does, and she is a huge asset to our school and Augsburg.
Last but not least, Mr. Peters.
Come on up.
Mike. Man.
So, with my job on the operational side of things, I try to shed light on people that kind of don't get the recognition they deserve sometimes. So we're going to talk about Mike here for a second. Mike is head custodian at RCHS. And a few things that I'd just like to publicize about Mike. He runs a good team. He,
There you go, we just talked
I can't say, well, they're great. So Mike runs a good team. And when I say he runs a good team, they're a great group of people and they keep the building clean, and it reflects the pride that we're looking for. So he sets a standard in that regard. Mike also runs a good team because he leads them. And they are all good together. They're a sum of the whole, but Mike leads them to where they need to go, and that's the part that I want to acknowledge tonight. And I'm going to give an example. You don't know I'm going to do this, but I'm going to give an example. Mike, when we first started working together, I started talking about some expectations that we wanted to have in our buildings, cleanliness and whatnot. And I talked to the custodians, and they were feeling me out as a new person. They weren't quite sure. So after I left, his team went to Mike and said, well, what about this, and what about this, and what about this? Had some concerns. So Mike's trying to chase me down, and he comes over to my old office over here, and he says, hey, Grant, I got to talk to you. And he kind of looks down, and he's like, we got to talk through this. So Mike and I had a good grown man-to-man conversation about just a couple of things that were minor adjustments. But the moral of the story is we adjusted some verbiage that we were using, and Mike advocated for his team members. And it was just a simple conversation about trying to get things to where they need to be. And that's when I knew, like, Mike is the guy, and he's going to confront things that need to be confronted, and he's going to act in the best way in the interest of kids. And Mike is my guy, and I appreciate it. And Mike has been doing it a long time, so some little speech that I'm giving is not really doing it justice, but he is the employee of the month on the operations side for Rush County Schools.
Board member comments. Ms. Angie.
I went to family night at RES the other night, and it was fun to see everybody in their construction gear. I thought that was cute, and it was very well done. I saw a lot of parents and kids and teachers having fun, and it was a cool thing to be there. I got to see my baby being a teacher and, you know, doing her teacher thing, and that's, you know, it blew me away because she's awesome. So it was you did a great job, Mrs. Meyer. And
Support of everyone else.
But it was great. That's all.
Yeah, I'd like to comment on the community support of the massive number of building projects we've done over the last 10 years. And it's hard to imagine that Rushville Elementary is 50 years old. And it needs a lot of work. And I get to go in every Wednesday morning as part of a remedial reading program. And I would like to comment that the construction company is doing an absolutely amazing job. There's no, as big as the project is, they've isolated where they're working so that the students really don't see it. I don't know where they're getting all the materials from, but you'd think that the playgrounds would just be stacked up with steel and studs, and you don't see any of it. So I would like to commend them on how they're doing it, and hope they can keep that up, and disrupting the students as little as possible during this process, which is going to be huge. The other thing I'd like to talk about is I had an opportunity, this hasn't got anything to do with school in particular, tour the new community center. When they do open the community center up, I would encourage all of you to take the time to go to the grand opening. It's an impressive structure. It's impressive how many things they're trying to get done in the space that is available, and the quality of the workmanship, the layout of the building, the enthusiasm of the community groups that are going there. Everything is, it's amazing how the guys got that put together as big as it is, because I was the treasurer of the community center group 15 years ago, and we failed miserably. We were trying to find $7 million, and these people found 24. It's impressive. I recommend that you all go take a look at it when it's opened up.
RES got a load of supplies today when I was there, because they, and the construction gentlemen, they pulled in and I was trying to get all my stuff up and they offered to carry it up because they parked right where the little ramp was and everything. But yeah, kudos to them, especially the two secretaries. It's always been chaos there, but in that area, it is utter chaos now with the two of them being there and everything coming through there, and it is an organized chaos, but they do it with smiles on their faces every day. Kudos to all the fourth grade students, teachers. We did the Caldwell Days, had multiple compliments from all the volunteers about how well behaved the kids were this year, and all the community members that donate money so that we are able to do that. Have a field trip for them right here that I think they enjoyed. I think this was year 10 that we did it. Also, FFA had another successful Green Hand Initiation Night, and National Convention is later this month in Indianapolis, and Rush County has 4 national finalists. And that's a huge process of it being looked at, and then they even had a group of people come and they had to do an interview that was like an hour long with each of those students. So it was pretty impressive that we had 4 students from Rushville who were national finalists in scientists.
Can I add to that?
Sure.
Because I talked to Sammy today, DeLay, because of our community and the donations that we give for FFA, we are sending 64 members every day to the national convention. That is amazing, because it's not cheap.
The kids don't have to pay.
And the kids pay this, nothing, because of this community.
They've even had some that like take them out to dinner while they're up there for different things. So, like I said, that will be later this month.
Mr. Carmen?
Congratulations to all the students and staff that were recognized tonight, a very well-deserving group. You all do so much, and we thoroughly appreciate that. Thank you for parents and family coming to support. That's always great to see. And thank you to Citizens State Bank for supporting the school and coming and talking to us about that.
Jeff?
Well, I think everything's about been said. But parents, be proud of your kids, and spouses, proud of your spouse. Everybody does a great job. It takes everybody to make this thing happen. And so that's all I've got.
I had the honor of being asked to go to the start to the school system, to school screenings, and my hat's off to all kindergarten teachers. Trying to herd a group of kindergarten kids through the school screening, I have the utmost respect for the kindergarten teachers. We'll now take a 5-minute break for pictures, and no stuff as before there, folks. 5-minute break so we can get on with our board meeting after this, and then after that, if you want to say that's wonderful, if you want to leave, we truly understand. So let's take the pictures at this point, take a break. Thank you. Let's call the business part of the meeting back to order. A, consider adoption of the 2025 budgets. Mr. Jameson, you are on.
Yes, sir. Budgets have been advertised and our hearing has been held. It's now time for the final approval. Considering the adoption of the 25 to 2027 capital projects plan and resolution, I seek the board's approval for the 2-year capital projects plan that was presented. While this is a 2-year plan, the most important year is the first year of the plan. The plan is built each year and acts as a guide to the repair, replacement of equipment that is known at the time of the plan development and also allows for unanticipated repairs and replacements. The fund is also used to pay for technology, equipment, and personnel. I seek the board's approval.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion, second, discussion. Hearing none, sorry.
I struggle with the word budget on this because that implies income and expense. And we don't get expense, we just get income. And I'm not saying this because Mr. Jameson's doing anything wrong, because I look up at the DOE and that is what he's provided us is exactly what they require. My problem with it is states are really good, governments are really good about coming up with how much money they get to spend. They just struggle with monitoring expenses. So, you know, as we're following the rules of the law, I still struggle with us not following very detailed cash flow to understand where the money's going. So, you know, as we look at this as a budget, in my mind, it's a statement of income, but there's no offsetting expenses. And so, I struggle to go along with this, I guess is what I'm saying.
That's what the state calls it, the budget. Well, and I mean,
And
that's
we're
legally.
adopting a budget.
Right, but like legally, that's what.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't agree with you that it would still be nice to get that other stuff, but as far as what this is for, this is to meet the legal requirements.
And that we cannot go into deficit management, we have to have a balanced budget.
But we can still ask for that other stuff.
Yeah.
And we can still, like, when can we expect to start seeing some of that other stuff, I guess?
And one major thing, we had to replace a lot of vehicles when I first got here, and now we're budgeting that if we have to, which we don't, but I wanted to do it to where we're not buying 3 new vehicles every year, you know, when it's time to replace them, kind of stagger it, so it's not a huge budget issue and asking for it all the time.
But I mean more like.
Operations, education.
Right, I mean, we get, this is how much we got in, this is how much, and then we get the huge list of everywhere it went, and I think, I mean, I've kind of asked for it before, how much did we pay for utilities? How much did we pay for this? You know, we kind of get the cash flow, you know, this in, that out, but more, okay, when he's talking about, when you hear the word budget, you know, when I have a budget, it's this much for utility, this much for your mortgage, this much for your food, this much for gas, you know, something where the expenses are categorized out more, I think is what you're getting at.
Yeah, I mean.
Or I guess that's what I'm getting at.
You know, we're approving the 25 budget, and that should be a projection of expenses from January to December. And then at the end of every month, I think we should see the income that was brought in and the detailed expenses that went out. And, you know, if there's a school costing a ton of money in gas or electric or repairs, we see money going out. We don't ever get to see what the true cost of things are. And it's hard to do any sort of long-term planning because they're just lump sum numbers in that big docket. I mean, I would challenge a really good CPA to sort through that thing. And so I'm okay with the budget and the numbers, but as a motion, I would much rather see it in December. We get a detailed cash flow with income and expenses.
But we won't get money every month. We get, right, Jim?
You get payments
Right.
quarterly and stuff.
Quarterly,
But
right?
that's not how cash flows work.
I understand, but you're saying, you see how much money comes in every month, there won't be a
And that-
state, an income from the
And
the state
then-
every month, that'll be every quarter.
And then therefore you should have 2 months of no money coming in.
Right.
So it
But
should
you
flow
still
through
have
to the
money
bottom
coming out.
to see where the money goes.
I understand, but I'm just saying, but I just was trying to say, we won't get something monthly from the state.
Right.
And that's fine, that's what it would show. That's what I'm asking for.
Okay.
Is truly what it shows, not just a lump sum of $15 million.
And I think that document you sent us, you know, that was one of the things that was on there. There was an appendix that had, you know, cash flow, monthly cash flow, that had some of that.
Yeah. And that came from the School Board Association.
Right. And it also had like a nice timeline of what you should expect each month as far as fiscal stuff.
No, it's just, I'll work on it. I just, yeah, work on, we're trying to get a lot of things done right now, so we can start looking through and I'll give you a call, kind of what your, like you said, gas, electric, is there?
Basically, that docket summarized into, it comes in chunks of stuff you paid.
Individual checks.
And that should just carry over to the side of the cash flow. And, you know, if you spent $10,000 on natural gas last January, the budget for January of '25 should say $10,000 in natural gas. And then when it truly comes in February, if we spent $9,500, you know, we should have a $500 surplus down there above budget.
Until the next month when it's colder than usual,
And
then we
then
have to be,
and
we
then it
spend that
reflects the other way.
500 plus the other way.
And you're talking about something like I do as a farmer.
Absolutely.
Month by month, that I can take my banker and show him where I need the money and where I don't need money. The end numbers are all the same, but it makes you, it makes me stop and think once a year when I do it, and I forget about it the rest of the year. But it does make you stop and think.
It gives
I
us the
don't-
ability to look at different costs that are happening throughout, outside of, you know, if we spend $50,000 on natural gas, that doesn't tell you that, yeah, it's a big number, but we don't know where.
So I guess I want to ask a question, like you're asking, because I never think that, let's say the bill's 50,000, we'll spend more than 4,000 a month, there's some months we may spend 8 in the winter and only 1,500 in the summer. So you really want to see what we actually pay
Every month.
Every month, what we budget. Okay, I
Do you have
understand.
any spreadsheet with your line of work you can send me, share with me? Kind of what, I don't want to guess what you're looking for.
Well,
I
you know,
wanna-
you can reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
If you tell me how many items you have, I'll create the spreadsheet for you.
Okay.
I just need somebody, I'll put it all in there and I'll put the formulas in it. I just need somebody to sort it. I don't have the accounting, I don't know how the bills are accounted for.
Okay.
You know, so there ought to be a way to pull that over because you
So
pay.
what bills we're paying, so everything in the big docket, we pay bill.
Yeah, yeah, whether it's, you know, taxes or salaries or whatever it is, and that, debt service fund isn't as important in that because it's a pretty short, you know, it's.
Pretty much operation.
Money in, money out.
Yeah.
It's more operations we're talking about.
Operations and education.
Right, operations.
Education, I think, would be even simpler than operations.
It would be, yeah, it would be, but it would still have some movement in it.
Yeah.
I understand, especially when there's the 5 weeks and the extra pay period.
Yes.
That type of thing.
And especially when money gets moved across, you know, it's easy to say, look, we're short this month because of the 5 weeks, we're moving money
Right.
over.
I agree, because I'm on the board that we look at that on a monthly basis.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think it's a good practice as a board.
So-
And I'm not
so-
saying this because I think you're doing it wrong. I think you're following the letter of the law to a T. But I think as a board, it's much easier to justify to everybody what we're doing if you have a really good handle on the expenses and where they're going.
Of course, and then also make sure that they understand it's coming from the right pool, that this pool comes from this fund, and these expenses come from this fund.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Any other discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Consider adoption of the 2025 to 2029 bus replacement plan and resolution.
I seek the board's approval for the bus replacement plan for the 2025 through 2029 school years. For this school year, we plan to order 4 passenger buses to replenish our fleet.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, discussion.
Are any of those gonna be mini buses? You talked about those at one time.
Not this round. I sat down with Stan and Jamie and talked about our priorities. We have and I have it written down somewhere, there's an international series of engines that came out that are just no good. Is it Max Force 9?
I don't remember.
Anyways, I don't want to put the wrong information up there. And we have 8 or 9 of those buses, and they continually show problems. So we're looking at liquidating those when it doesn't make sense to repair them anymore. And we have a couple of those right now. So the 4 standard yellow buses are a priority. In our next round, we'll probably look at a minibus or a minibus that's yellow with a stop arm, so it's versatile. We're just going to investigate options. But this decision was made with Stan and Jamie's advice about what we needed in our fleet.
All far in advance, you have to order the buses now.
It's better, a standard yellow bus is a lot better than it used to be. And we ordered these buses by the beginning of September in hopes to get them by the end of the year. And we actually had some flexibility. So they are going to be here in May, and they know not to charge us until 2025 because of the budget conversation we're having today. So it's not charged on 2024's document. So it was more flexible. I mean, it's not 2 months, but it's not 18 months either.
At one time, it was almost ridiculous, 3 or 4
For the
years.
last buses, we got new buses when they first started, and they were on hold for, I think it was
Almost
18
2
months.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts.
It was about time.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Consider approval of resolution to authorize budget reductions.
I recommend the board adopt this resolution, which gives me the authority as a superintendent to reduce the budgets if needed. The DLGF field examiner needs to have this on file in case reductions need to be made. They're still shifting on, like, our tax rate and stuff. We know it's gonna go down, but this just gives me the authority if we need to reduce budgets, we can.
By budgets, that just means the income.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second, discussion. Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Superintendent Schools, sir, you are on.
Next item is the consent items. I seek the board's approval of the September minutes, the personnel report as stated, donations, claims, and payroll. I will go through the donations real quick. $201.05 from Dairy Queen to the RCHS Class of 2028 account. $127.48 from Zeddy's to the RCHS FFA account. $200 from, how's that?
Zoetis.
Zoetis. Sorry. Didn't take my attack. $200 from the Gerald and Jessica Miller to Milroy Elementary Cheer Club. $25 from McDonald's to the RES Preschool Snack Account. $200 from Jeff Wesling to the RCS Preschool Snack Account. $200 from Dr. Steven Stickbert to the RCHS athletics account, $100 from the Citizens Bank to the RCHS FFA account, and $1,000 from Bunge to the Bungie to the RCHS FFA account. I seek the board's approval.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. First reading and board policy updates.
I included in your packet, I sent you the fall board policy updates from our school attorney. The first reading, I have left these policy updates untouched with recommendations from our attorney, Ms. Annie Matthews. For the second reading, I will make those necessary changes, seek your approval for these updates at the November board meeting.
You need a motion on this?
Nope, just stating the fact, if anybody has any, if you look through those and have any suggestions or comments, I welcome any board member to make them to me.
Do you want them now, or I just have a question on one of them?
If you want to give me a call, we'll talk through it, that'd be great. Okay.
Board's approval for alternative bid 7A for the RES construction project.
I'm seeking the board's approval for alternative bid 7 and 7A for the RES construction project. In alternative bids 7 and 7A include the following items. Alternative 7 is renovation and reorganization of the kitchens and the cafeteria. Alternative 7A is the kitchen prep area, counters, and equipment relocation. I seek the board's approval to accept those alternate bids.
So moved.
I have a motion, second, discussion.
It was really helpful when they came in and really laid things out so we can see clearly what we were looking at. So thank you for.
Great work session.
Yeah.
The only thing I wish is we'd have done it up there.
Yeah.
Done it at the elementary
Okay.
school.
So we
Like
can
if we
see
do
what's-
it
see what's
in
going
the future, I would recommend, even though it's probably not gonna be me, you do it there, just cause you could visualize it even more.
Make sure there's no corners, right?
Right.
Any other discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Update mileage claim amount.
Last year at this time, we updated the mileage claim amount. So I seek the board's approval to increase the cents per mile for 2023, which was at 58 cents, to the 2024 rate as followed the IRS guidelines of 67 cents.
So moved.
Have a motion. Here a second.
Second.
Discussion. Do we pay out much mileage, Jim?
Not that much.
What's it for?
Principals have it to go to conferences and stuff. Some people travel in between the buildings, like Dr. Nalik. You want this, right? Yeah. You know, but we don't, it's not, we try to cap it to, you get to a certain amount, $1,800, there's no more, you know. So it's not just, hey, I'm running all over the place saying I'm going in on school business. You have to fill out a docket and sign it and attest to it and stuff. So it's an expense, but it's not one of those that's gonna break the bank. But
Any other-
before we had several years, we were like 31 cents and then we bumped it to 58.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't we have a big discussion about this last year? We decided to just stay with the IRS guidelines. Yeah.
And I saw it off of last year,
Yeah, yeah.
This is the first time it's come up since.
Yeah.
especially since gas is not going down. It won't be here for a while.
Any other discussion, please? Call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. The 2025 High Reliability School Summit. Jim, you're on.
I seek the board's approval for an out-of-state field trip to send 7 representatives to the 2025 High Reliability School Summit in San Antonio, Texas, January 29th through the 31st. We do have Arlington Elementary and Milroy Elementary who will be receiving their Level 1 certification award. We're taking Dr. Jake Schaffner, who is new to us, Dr. Nalik, Mr. Peters is going this time, so we're kind of spreading it around to get more people involved. I seek the board's approval for this out-of-state field trip.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second, discussion. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Other.
First one under other is the board meeting dates for the 2024-2025 school year. I seek the board's approval to adopt these dates and times so that we can get them posted to the website and updated for everyone to view.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion second, discussion.
Yeah, the July 1st one.
Am I supposed to abstain since it doesn't affect me?
I would expect nothing less.
July the 1st, that's probably Thursday.
Yeah, 'cause it is.
We moved it
Labor
last
Day.
year. I thought it was before the 4th of July for this year, so.
I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty.
Do you
I
wanna-
think it's late
It's the
again.
same week,
Yeah.
then, so.
Let's,
But that's not there.
so why don't we, I'll adjust it and off, obviously that, but move it to the following Tuesday, stay off Fair Week. Like, you're done with the 4th of July and stuff, so. So it'd be what, July
Eight.
8th?
I didn't notice that till just now. I thought you
So
were looking.
do I need to make a motion to amend my motion to change it, or we don't have any FFA people here to?
I would think you have to, yes.
Okay, so I make a motion to amend
For the one,
the,
two.
Prove it as amended.
approve it as amended. There we
There
go.
we go.
To July 8th. Try to get my words.
Second.
I have a motion second, discussion.
Sounds good.
Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. The S&P.
I do have two other things under other.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The first, we have two great, young, energetic FFA advisors. They did an outstanding job the other night, but I also reached out to them because of the trees on Sexton. I said we were going to replace them after we took out the ones that were dying. So I challenged those two young ladies to what trees would look good, what trees would go in that soil, and what trees would be, when do we need to have those planted. So they are working with their FFA classes, their ag classes, to pick out some trees and provide us with some options. But they've been a little busy with the ceremony and stuff, but they're gonna get it to us as soon as possible. So, I just want to put it out there, it's not a dead issue, it's not like we forgot about it, but I think it's important to have our kids involved in making those decisions. That's gonna beautify the school for several years to come. So, the next thing, since we've done a lot with the building project, one of the major things is the S&P rating call for the upcoming sale of the bonds, in that we were rated AA++. So what that means is that Rush County Schools' financial forecast remains strong and consistent with the previous ratings issued last year. This will create a lower interest rate, and the school will pay back less money in interest because of the positive fiscal policies and practices of this district. So I just wanted to put that out there on everybody's radar.
Important date, sir.
I do want to add one that wasn't listed on there. Remind everybody that October 9th, students will not be in session. That day is our parent-teacher conference. So hats off to each individual school as they're running their conferences as they see fit. They've made a lot of contacts with parents, so we're looking for a very positive outcome, but there's no students that day. This kind of replaces the previous where we had in February a professional development day and students didn't come. Through our collective bargaining agreement last year, the teachers, we wanted to have back to a parent-teacher conference, one day, one opportunity. So obviously we're going to take this, after it's over with, we're going to send out a survey how it went from the teacher's perspective as we're working on next year's calendar as well to see if we want to replicate it and stuff. So just want to put that out there. We got fall break coming up, October 21st through the 25th. Central office will be closed on 10/25. October 29th is the public hearing on the tentative collective bargaining agreement, 4 p.m. here at Central office. And then November 4th is our next regular board meeting at 6:30.
That's a Monday.
Yes, it is a Monday because Tuesday is kind of a small, important day in America. It's election day.
And it's 6:30, not 7.
Yep. Jeff finally gets out of the fields and we can start something.
We can start a little earlier.
It's not lunchtime for him.
Yeah.
Administrative reports. Grant, you're on.
Ready. Short and sweet. In the personnel report, you approved our new transportation coordinator. I'm excited about bringing a person on board to support all the logistics of transportation. We had an interview process that I thought was extensive, and we looked at a lot of different candidates, and very pleased to move forward with Alexa Wellborn as our new transportation coordinator. She will start effective October 21, and yes, that is our fall break, but she's an annual year-round employee, and that'll give her time to get settled in the new office without the logistics of kids and buses running on the radio and so on and so forth. So pleased about that. Also, I want to put a plug in about stop arm safety. There's a couple of hot spots in the community that I'm learning about, like I just talked about Perkins Street, and I talked about a couple others. If you ever, the public, anyone gets the opportunity to talk about respecting a bus stop arm, please do so. We're only one accident away from having something catastrophic on our hands, and it's just simple. Just obey the stop arm. It's that simple. We have a public service announcement that Jeff Erstis was the star of the show. I hope to recirculate that out through our social media platforms. Bob Bridges was a star as well, and I happen to be the one that got pulled over in it, so nonetheless, we'll circulate that back out. But that's my PSA. Custodial and maintenance, it's really the rhythm of a school year, right in the middle of it. If there's something you're aware of that you want to report, we try to get to it as fast as we can. And the last thing I'll say, that the hot days with the high heat index really tax some of our AC units. And our guys, they work their butt off to keep those things going. And there's a variety of things they do to nurse some of those older units along. And that's the reason why we have the bond projects and other things to address some of those issues. So we're fixing them long term for some of those units that just can't keep up on those 100-degree plus heat index days. And the staff also really is very patient about it too. You know, we might have a wing or an area of a building that gets really hot. Just know our maintenance guys, they're working their butts off. So that's all I got for this month, and it is a little later in the evening, so we'll just keep it moving. Who's next?
Are most of those units that are struggling getting on the docket to be replaced?
Yes.
Or are there some of them that we haven't caught yet?
No. They're on the docket, but just because of the phasing of borrowing money, we can't fix it like tomorrow.
Right.
Or we can't fix it in phase 1. It's just.
But they're planned.
Yeah.
There's nothing that left out, I guess.
No, and the things that we've recently replaced are where they need to be, or we have a service contract with Train or somebody to address the problems.
And the new one worked at the high school?
What's that?
The new one at the high school worked fine?
It's fine,
Okay.
Good. Yep.
Mr. Anderson, please.
That, for the record, that's not one of the units I was discussing. Just to be clear. Yes. Yes. You got it.
Good now. All right. Just real quick, hard to believe we're finishing up our first 9 weeks Friday, and special education teachers, I just want to thank them for getting all their paperwork done, now progress reports, so they can go home with grade reports next week. Last week I attended a state conference for special education directors, and everybody in the state is feeling the same pains we are with hiring staff. So DOE, they're doing a presentation for our roundtable in November about some of the things to address that, and I'll bring that information back to you. That's all I have.
And I'll give applause to Mr. Anderson. I got a call from a special needs parent, and he addressed the problem directly, quickly, and got the problem solved. I trust him, and I just want to say thank you in public.
Thank you. Appreciate
Ms. Ennis?
Alrighty, as of midnight tonight, our ADM count will be going in, and Brevin Rennebaum and I have been working on our SIS, which is the Student Information System, talking to the state information system called DEX. We're working on a few more errors to try to clear those up, but certification won't take place until October 7th. And then I'll have hard numbers probably for the November board meeting and our count. And things are looking much better than they were this time last year, is all I have to say on that. On the grant side of things, we had been awarded a career coaching grant at the beginning of the year, and that pays for a part-time career coach. We opted to extend that grant and take some additional funding to drop it down to pre-K through 6th grade. So we're getting some additional funding, not necessarily for a coach, but to pay for opportunities for our students to be exposed to different types of careers and options that they would have. So we have that, which now totals about $46,000. That's just money for us, which is great to have. We are still waiting on our Title I allotment. That Title I grant is about $450,000. We've submitted everything on our end, and because the DOE is shorthanded, we're waiting on one portion to be approved, and we've been waiting on that. The pre-application went in July, and the actual application went in September. So early September, we've just been waiting, kind of in a holding pattern. We still have title funds that we have to spend until December 31st, so we're in good shape there. We are planning on and will be applying for up to $200,000 grant through Project Lead the Way and the Lilly Foundation. I think I talked about that just briefly last board meeting, but this is going to benefit all of our schools and all of our students. We met with a Project Lead the Way rep this week, and it was this week, I believe, and she's going to be guiding me through the process of applying for that grant. And we don't have the money yet, but that's going to be a huge asset in curriculum and instruction for our kiddos. So that's all pretty much I know.
Dr. Nally?
Before we do that, can I just ask a question? I know Brevin's not here, but did our internet problems get solved? Are they better?
They're a lot better. There's
Okay.
still some bottlenecks. He's waiting on some parts to fix that, but as far as the fiber hooked up and spliced and all that,
I knew that the fiber people had been out there.
that mill drill guy's been pretty good.
Well, that truck driver of his, woo.
So, we really do appreciate not only Brevin and Zach, they spent some nights after hours, so that everything ran smooth. So I think he worked one 17-hour day, and I said, come on, you're young, you can do that. But him and Zach, we appreciate the team effort, and then obviously Ron Jarman for his guidance, and obviously No Drill for moving us to the top, because we were pretty handicapped. So things are getting a lot better. We just have to wait on a few parts, and like everything, supply chain.
Now, Dr. Nally.
So for the last couple months, I've been focusing on instructional coaching with the new hires. I've been going into all the schools. Mondays I'm at Arlington, Tuesdays I'm at Milroy, Wednesdays I'm at the middle school, Thursdays I'm at RES, and then Fridays I'm at the high school. So I had to make a very complicated instructional coaching schedule, but I made it work. So far I've met with all of the new hires. They've set goals that they want to work on for the year. Most of the new teachers have been focusing on classroom management and lesson planning, which is typical for first-year teachers. No one's left, knock on wood. So I think that's going pretty well. And then I jump-started my PD Pop program. I'm starting to make more digital options available because teachers are so busy after school, you know, they have families and whatnot, and actually that's been more popular. I've been making them using Edpuzzle, and the teachers go through the PD and they email me when they're finished, and then I send them their PGP documentation. So perfect.
She will never accept this, but everybody's singing her praises. They love her to death, and so glad that we have her part of our family here at Rush County Schools. So,
For our two guests, welcome for coming to the meeting. Please come back. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.